the bigger picture. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the bigger picture. Isn't that funny? Come on. Oh, Wyatt, happy birthday, baby. But come on. Come on. Is this going to be good? The bigger picture. I hope you're seeing the bigger picture in various areas, but I'm going to share this with you. I was reading in my Bible, and this verse came up, and I just read it differently, this whole story, and we'll see what happens. So, it is Matthew 12. So, let me read this to you first. I will read you the story, and then I'm going to talk about it. It's a very, very interesting one. Again, I was just reading this, and it was mind-blowing. And it brought up a few different aspects that we're going to talk about, but the bigger picture is going to be important, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go to, where is it at? Matthew 12. A discussion about the Sabbath. At about that time, Jesus was walking through the grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry, so they began breaking off heads of grain and eating them. But some Pharisees saw them do it and protested, "Look, your disciples are breaking the law by harvesting grain on Sabbath." Jesus said to them, "Haven't you read in the scriptures what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He went into the house of God, and he and his companions broke the law by eating the sacred loaves of bread that only the priests are allowed to eat. And haven't you read the law of Moses that the priests on duty in the temple may work in the Sabbath? I tell you, there is no one here who's even greater than the temple. But you would not have condemned my innocent disciples if you knew the meaning of this scripture. I want you to show mercy, not offer sacrifices, for the Son of Man is Lord even over Sabbath." Jesus heals on Sabbath. Then Jesus went over to the synagogue. He noticed a man with a deformed hand. The Pharisees asked Jesus, "Does the law permit a person to work by healing on the Sabbath?" They were hoping he would say yes so they could bring charges against him. And he answered, "If you had a sheep that fell into a well on the Sabbath, wouldn't you work to pull it out? Of course you would. And how much more valuable is a person than a sheep? Yes, the law permits a person to do good on the Sabbath." And then he said to the man, "Hold out your hand." So the man held out his hand, and it was restored just like the other one. Then the Pharisees called a meeting to plot how to kill Jesus. So they call him the Prince of Demons. So again, he heals them. They get mad at him. Then the demon-possessed man who was blind and couldn't speak was brought to Jesus. He healed the man so that he could both speak and see. The crowd was amazed and asked, "Could it be that Jesus is the son of David, the Messiah?" But when the Pharisees heard about the miracle, they said, "No wonder he could cast out demons. He gets power from Satan, the prince of demons." Jesus knew their thoughts and replied, "Any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. And if Satan is casting out Satan, he's dividing and fighting against himself. His own kingdom will not survive. And if I am empowered by Satan, what about your own exorcist? They cast out demons too, so they will condemn you for what you've said. But if I'm casting out demons by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God has arrived among you. For who is powerful enough to enter the house of a strong man and plunder his goods? Only someone even stronger, someone who could tie him up and then plunder him. Anyone who isn't with me opposes me, and anyone who isn't working with me is actually working against me." So let's see, where does he say? Then this is the point. A tree is identified by its fruit. If a tree is good, its fruit will be good. If a tree is bad, its fruit will be bad. You brood of snakes, how could evil men like you speak what is good and right? For whatever is in your heart determines what you say. A good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart, and an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. And I tell you this, you must give an account on Judgment Day for every idle word you speak. The words you say will either acquit you or condemn you. Again, another part in the Bible I've said. Isn't it funny how powerful words are? Said again, different part of the Bible. You've heard me every time I read it, but that's the story. So what happens? Do you see the point? I read that over the weekend. It was about Jesus healing on the Sabbath, and they didn't want him to do it. And honestly, I started thinking about it because when you read the verse, it's like we like to think that like God is this sweeping judge and that everything is wrong and that wrong is this and that and that everyone's going to go to hell and all that. But like, honestly, where did you learn that from? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, where did you learn that from? Like, is God really like this? Or is that human behavior? Because that's what that whole verse showed. It's humans' behavior to judge harshly. It's human behavior to be quick to condemn and not weigh the good and bad. And that's the key. To not weigh the good and bad. You know what that means? It means to simply miss the bigger picture. That's what I got after reading this. Because again, they were hungry. They were starving. And for the sake of a rule, even Jesus was like, well, if you're hungry, we could feed you. But the law said no. And what did they say to him? They said, no, you can't do that. The best part is, when it came to little things like food, they weren't willing to waver with it. They were the ones who are just as judgmental as people think God is. But is it really like that? I don't know. Because in this case, Jesus is literally saying there's an exception, weigh the good and bad. He's saying, see the bigger picture. You're telling me these guys are starving. You don't really understand the text. It's not about sacrificing and doing all of this. It's actually what's really in your heart. Are you doing it for God or are you doing it for an image? Are you going through the motions or do you have a real reason? That's why they wanted to kill him next. First, they wanted to ridicule him for something as small as eating. Just eating food, they wouldn't waver. Humans. But right when he helped somebody out, right when it went from, oh, you're going to feed them, to, wow, you're going to heal somebody. You're going to make somebody better. You're going to make someone get better. That was their trigger to want to kill him. Pretty funny. So why do you think that same verse, it explains that whole situation, and what does it lead down to? It's about the tree. He said, what's the fruit? That's the standard. Because a lot of people miss the bigger picture. A lot of people are looking at certain things, but failing to see what is the result produced by the action. So that's what I really got out of reading this, because I was like, man, maybe God is a little bit more understanding, and maybe we are the ones that don't understand as much. Because we're so quick to say, that's right, that's wrong, this is that, but are you seeing the fruit? Are you seeing the bigger picture? So honestly, what I'm trying to tell you today, and what I got out of it, hopefully you could see it from the text, but don't get caught up in the broad assessment of something. Stop looking so broad at something, this is that, but what's the bigger picture? It's not about a rule on Sunday. It's not about if do this, do that. It's saying, what's the bigger picture? Like, honestly, we're talking GameStop, gambling. Am I really trying to keep you broke? Am I really trying to say, don't do this? Or am I saying, look beyond one play? Look beyond one day, 1 week, 1 year. What is the bigger picture? What is your goal? What fruit are you trying to produce? Honestly, that's why failure. Some of you are getting stuck in a little event instead of trying to find a way out and seeing that it's going to give your skills and give you what you need. You're missing the bigger picture and you're ready to quit because you're only seeing the broad assessment of it. Honestly, for real, for some, I'm trying to tell you, don't talk to me about where the tree is planted. Some of you are a tree, I get it. And some of you may not be where you want to be. Some of you may be where you want to be, and even the same thing applies. Don't tell me where the tree is. I don't care where the tree is, if it's here on Sunday, Monday, anything. But what does it produce? That's it. And that's why I want some of you to focus, because I don't know. For someone like me, that verse gives me a lot of confidence. A lot. I could look back, I could put my feet up and say, you know what? Look at the fruit. And some of you are trying to see something, you're dealing with something. I encourage you to look at the fruit. Because if you're producing good fruit, or at the very least, if that's your intention, just like that verse, when they were hungry, what's the intention? When the man is sick, what was the intention? That's what led to the fruit. But if you're doing good and you're producing good fruit, you'll be good. If you're doing something that is good, you're going to produce it. Love, hope, faith, peace. You're going to be okay. Honestly, I hope all of you really understand that. It's not, I don't care what the world says. I don't care what people do. A lot of people get mad at me. A lot of people bully and people do stuff in the weirdest ways possible. I see it happen to other people. There's a lot of things that could change your behavior. Some of you don't want to do something because what somebody said about a stock, or what somebody said about this, or what somebody, they may not like this and that. Are you operating in love, hope, faith, and peace? Are you looking to better your family, your future, and all that? What are you worried about? There's really nothing to worry about if the fruit is good. So, you guys may not be in the right place right now. You may not even be in the right season. But the fruit is all that matters. Stop getting caught up with where the tree's at. Stop getting caught up even with the season. I don't care what it looks like outside. What tree are you? And what fruit do you produce? Again, what's the bigger picture is what I'm asking. You do good, good will come back to you. You provide value, value will be provided to you. Said in almost every religious text, not just the Bible. The fruit. So, I want some of you guys to just take a look at the fruit you're producing. Like, really look at it. What bigger picture is it leading to? And are you planting your fruit? And are you looking to create fruit based off of something small? Or are you actually seeing the bigger picture? I want you to really take a look. Honestly, it's difficult. Because some of you, it'll give you confidence. Some of you, it won't make you feel too great. But God bless you. It's a wake-up call. Some of you need to wake up and start being more positive. Look at your damn tree. From a good heart comes good things. Why you feel bad about it? Some of you, you're planting, but you're planting not looking forward. Like, what are you planting for? Or how you plant is determined on whatever happens today or tomorrow. Look at the seeds. What have you planted? Are your goals and what you're planning, are they accounting for the bigger picture? Or are you just like these Pharisees trying to follow a book of rules and saying, oh, if you don't step here, you're wrong. If you don't dance around and do this on Sunday, you're wrong. You can't do this, you can't do that. Is that really what it is? That's it. Some of you go to college to do this. Some of you just make a business just to say you have a business. Some of you wake up and sit here just to say you're trading. Are you missing the bigger picture? That's the key. Ultimately, what are your actions going to produce? Don't get caught up in the action and don't get caught up in the protocol. That's what I'm really trying to tell you guys. Because some of you, you won't meet the actions or you won't meet the protocol, but that doesn't mean you can't produce good fruit. Some of you, you're going through all the steps and you got the protocol down, but that doesn't mean the fruit's going to be good. So what I'm asking for all of you guys, for real, what's the bigger picture move? That's it. Jesus healed the man and said, what do you mean? He said, if I would help an animal, why wouldn't we help a human? Like, why are you guys missing the bigger picture? You're telling me you don't want this guy to get better because of a protocol? What? How many of you are doing that? Are you getting mad at other people or yourself because you're missing the bigger picture? You lost one trade today as if that is going to affect your whole portfolio and financial life? No. You missed out on one little bubble, one little wave. What does that mean to you? Don't miss the bigger picture, man. That's why it's funny what we talked about even earlier. So, really, I think that I always say this, but I really do think it is exciting. Because like I said, I'm like, man, there is a lot of good fruit produced. When I see what it is, I could doubt myself. I could doubt other people. I could look at the state of things. But the question is, like, yeah, people may not like what you do, how you say it, all of this stuff. But what has it produced? I know one thing I don't get today, there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger goal. We're investing. There is a bigger goal. Like, you guys are not here just for here today, right now. Like, there's a future. There's something bigger. So coming into 2021, we're already here. I've been giving you all of these philos. But just don't miss the bigger picture. Because day by day, it's easy to go through. Day by day, you don't really feel it as much. Because we're here every single day. You're doing your, it's easy to get caught up in the motion and protocol and action of life. So, don't miss the bigger picture. That's it. Judge it by the tree. If you produce good and there's good things, that's what you focus on. And that's the point. The bigger picture is, if that tree is not producing good fruit, the bigger picture is that you're wasting your time. You can't get a tree to stop producing bad fruit. If it doesn't produce, it doesn't produce. So you got to think about that. So, I hope it helps. And I hope you take this positively, because honestly, most of you have good fruit. That's why I hope this isn't negative. Because I know some people may sound like that to the uninitiated. But I hope you know, that's why I'm to encourage some of you. You got good fruit. You really, really do. So don't miss the bigger picture. Your fruit is good. Stop aiming for bad fruit. Stop selling yourself short because you don't think you're not looking at what you've already done. You're not looking at the fruit produced. People are saying, do this, all this. Everybody wants to talk about this, talk about other people doing this and that, but it's like, what's your tree? And that's it. All right? So it's very simple, man. I hope it helps, though. Take that to the bank, baby. And that is your philosophy. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up on the video. You're on mobile. Press high chat. X out the chat. Hit the thumbs up button. Second link for the nightly watch list and main channel. First link for the Scream Alerts Bootcamp and Real Estate course. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity.